I would struggle to say present. I would say poop, 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 poop. So, and everybody in the class would laugh. In a typical African household, you would have a last born child that is just annoying. That keeps annoying everybody. And there was this day, my little sister, she's the last born. She annoyed me to the extent where slap was the only solution.
So hey guys, it's ezinnetalks. I am ezinnetalks, a Nigerian YouTuber on stammering, lifestyle, storytelling, and vlogs, soon to be added to this channel. So I am opportune to hold the mic for a beautiful soul to share his story. This is the story of Abdul, who is an African like I am, but from Gambia. Yes, from Gambia. So Abdul would be sharing his stammer story, his stammer journey. I won't be appearing in the story because it is not mine. I'm just opportune to be holding mic for Abdul, so so he can tell his own story. So thank you so much, Abdul, for being on this channel. You do not know how much you have inspired me. Like, I actually feel like, yes, it's like I'm doing something good, something useful, because people are now reaching out to me to share their own stories, and it inspires a lot of us. So stay tuned and listen to the story, and hope it inspires you.
Good evening, lovely people. My name is Abdallah. I am originally from the Gambia, which is in West Africa, and I am a registered nurse. And I am very happy today to be here with ezinnetalks. I will get started with a bit of a background about me and growing up back in Gambia with a stammer, and some of the experiences I have gone through. So I was born in the Gambia, and then I started stammering at the age of 6, according to my mother. I have a big brother of mine as well who stammers as well, but his is very different to mine, and none of our family members have a stammer apart from me and him. So between the age of 6 up to junior school and high school, it has been pretty severe, very, very, very severe. I've had a lot of experiences that I still consider to be embarrassing, and since I was living with my namesake, I was living in a new environment. I was living in an atmosphere full of people who don't stammer. So it even made mine worse. So very often I would get asked questions, and then I wouldn't know how to speak. I would know the answer in the back of my head, but I wouldn't know how to reply it. Back in Africa, or I can say back in the Gambia, because I'm more familiar with Gambia, there are no speech therapies that you can refer your child to. Ever since I was born up to the age of now, I've never seen a speech language pathologist in the Gambia. So it sort of explains that when you have a child who stammers in the Gambia, there is basically no help you can offer them apart from you, the parent of the child. So in junior school, I was that quiet boy. I was shy. I didn't speak to lots of people because of my stammer, and I was quite embarrassed about it. I was wondering, why am I speaking like this? Why is everyone else so fluent and I'm speaking like this? And in junior school, many of the children there are not very matured, so when they see you speaking a different way, the only reaction is to laugh. So that laughing would obviously lower my self-esteem, my confidence, and everything. But there was actually a time when I was in grade 6. I was often very quiet in class. They would ask questions and I wouldn't be able to answer them. And people will see me as that guy who is very quiet, who doesn't know anything, because that is the conception that we have. Like, if a teacher asks a question that is very easy and you cannot even answer it, you are considered as someone who is not very smart. But I did do well in my exams. The exams were obviously written and not spoken exams, so I would obviously do my homework and do everything that was necessary for me to do in order to pass. So as it went by, I went to finish primary school and I went to high school. So the beginning of high school was quite overwhelming because you had to be more vocal, because you had to do debate, you had to speak to the teachers if you don't understand stuff, and all of that can play a big part on your anxiety. And in high school, by the way, usually the teacher comes to class. I don't know if this is the same in Nigeria or any other place in Africa. Early in the morning, first thing before the lessons, the teacher will come to class. So each teacher is allocated to a classroom that they will monitor, that they will be the class teacher of that particular class. So every morning we will all sit in the class, and the teacher will have like a book of register where he will call everyone's name, and then you would have to say present in order for him to know that you are there. So for me, obviously, I still do, by the way, but I had a problem with the P sounds. So whenever he called my name, Abdallah, I would struggle to say present. I would say poop, 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 poop. So and everybody in the class will laugh. And then my first initial reaction to that was, why am I struggling to say this? Why am I speaking differently? So my friends, I had a group of friends who would make fun of me every time I struggled to say a word. So it's in the initial stages, I got really mad. Why are you laughing at me and this and that? But it got to a point where I just got used to it. I know that laughing at me wasn't cool, but then I just got used to it. And then when you know that you have the anticipation to stammer and people are going to laugh at you, it makes it worse. You develop more anxiety and you are afraid to say that word because you are afraid that people are going to laugh at you. And the worst environment that you can anticipate a stammer is in high school, because immediately you stammer on one little letter, your immature friends are going to laugh at you. There's another experience I had. In a typical African household, you would have a last-born child that is just annoying, that keeps annoying everybody. And there was this day, my little sister, she's the last-born, she annoyed me to the extent where slap was the only solution. Sorry to break this, but slap was the only solution. She was annoying me to the extent where I got so angry that I couldn't help it but just give her a dirty slap. So, and she started to cry, and you know how they exaggerate. Even if the slap is not very hard, they will just start to exaggerate, cry all over the house. Everyone will hear it. Everyone will hear them. So my mom had her crying. She came down. I was about 15 and she was about 12 or 11. She was not like very, very young. She was like 12 to 11. So my mom arrived. She asked her, why is she crying? And then she said, he's the one who beats me. He's the one who slapped me. My mom asked me what happened. When they asked that, just know that you are dead. Just know that. Because that is the point where you have to explain and give a reason as to why you slapped or why you beat your little sister or brother. So you had to give a whole lecture and explanation. So immediately my mom asked me, why did you slap her? I couldn't explain. I had the words in my brain, but it couldn't get out of my mouth. it's like my brain said, okay, let's explain, and my mouth was like, what? I'm not hearing you properly. So I couldn't explain. So that's how my mom just slapped me herself. So at the end, me and my sister were both crying. My mom would often tell me, I want to send you to our neighbor's house or the nearby shop, but I'm worried about you because you cannot even speak properly. So those moments, even though I was like 15, it stuck with me. So I have this problem of, whenever I have a bad experience, it just sticks to my brain for life. And then I had a nickname back in high school, the Stammerer. It was in our local language, by the way, dead cat. So it's dead cat. So whenever they say, my friends, and other people, it wasn't all the time, but sometimes when they try to make fun of me, and sometimes when we're having a big argument, they will say, that's why you are a stammerer. So, those things really messed up my mental health as a child, because I always believed that I was, the child with the stammer, the child, the stammerer. Back in the Gambia, they always like to label you. So, for example, if you have one disability, they're not afraid to say that disability and join it together with your name. So everywhere I go, Abdallah, the stammerer. So, I didn't think of it much of a big deal, because in the beginning, obviously, it was hard, but then as time went, I just got used to it. So that just shows you how unaware and how sad it is that many people in Africa are not well informed about stammering and the effects it could have on the person, and especially mental effects, because so many people go through depression because of stammering. And I went through it back in Africa. I went through severe depression because of it. So that just shows you that it is stammering is just the tip of the iceberg. The mental status and the emotional status is the one beneath, which is very big. So it is very important to check with someone to see if they're okay. So obviously I got done with high school. I graduated. I was excited. When you graduate high school, you think you have made it in life, that you will not suffer anymore, that you are going to university, do a degree and graduate and have a job. It's not as easy as it sounds. For me, like with regards to my stammer, things started to go downhill when I started School of Nursing.
No, calm down. That is for part 2. So stay tuned for part 2. It will be uploaded very soon. Bye.